Welcome, Super Sentai Power Hour. I'm Trevor.
Who wants to go for next?
We should have talked this over with.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Brandon?
I can.
Brandon probably should go next since he's
Brandon or whatever.
Anthro Ranger X. I'm Dark Prince on Instagram. Dark Prince 84, and then Anthony.
I go by many names, but Anthony is what I prefer.
All right, so this is part 2 of our discussion on the Neo Saban era and Power Rangers Dino Fury. If you watched, actually, whenever you watched the first part, I still need to post that. I'm working on editing it now, actually. You will realize we have a couple more people.
We were able to get everybody together. We were able to get most of us together.
we have the usual Anthony Ranger X, Brandon. You've seen him before, but one you haven't seen is Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Anthony, why don't you tell the crowd a little about yourself?
Certainly, thank you. Hi guys, my name is Anthony Giedman. I'm 26 years old. Been watching Power Rangers for, a good chunk of my life since I was told 2.5. So basically close to 24 years of my lifespan. My favorite season, definitely toss up between In Space or Time Force. Probably leaning a little bit more towards In Space. Just because it was the first Dark series and everything. Time Force definitely comes very close, like a gnat's wing. That's how close it is. Favorite era between Saban, Disney, Hasbro, and Neo Saban. Definitely Saban, because that's where you have all the heavy hitters. The Power Rangers helped, along with Ninja Turtles, get me into martial arts. I've been studying karate for 15 years now. I study Okinawan Shorin-ryu karate, and I'm a first-degree black belt.
All right, so that's a little bit about good old Anthony. Now, let's continue the discussion. We left off on Power Rangers Dino Charge.
One of the better seasons of the Neo Saban era.
I would say it's the diamond in the rough of the Neo Saban era.
Yeah, it really is. It had a well-rounded story. The only thing is the only thing I say they did it because they didn't know how to end it because how good it was. The ending's like wah, wah, wah.
I hated the finale of that episode of that season because at the time we didn't know it was a separate dimension. We thought they literally broke the timeline and.
Yeah, like it almost became Shattered Grid, where just like it broke everything, but then it became its own timeline.
It's a good thing Ninja Steel did pull that next season, where it's like, well, we've never heard of RPM or Dino Charge. Oh, that's because we come from different dimensions. Okay, now it makes sense that dinosaurs are roaming free everywhere.
In my world,
I asked myself that too. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Indeed. Now, there are obvious comparisons here between the Sentai and the Power Rangers. Koryuger, as we mentioned previously, is a very, very good Sentai season. It is highly suggested you pull that up and watch it from TV Nihon or wherever you can get it.
I know a lot of my friends who watch that show. They say Gokaiger helped them get into Super Sentai just because it was trying to feature every Sentai team out there. But a lot of people do put Kyoryuger in the same league as Gokaiger, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely agree with that. Koryuger is just really good. If you're not used to more than the usual 5 or 6 Rangers, it might be a little much for you because there are like over 10 Rangers.
That's what I liked about it.
The interesting thing about Koryuger is Zoo Ranger Mighty Morphin was originally intended to have 10 Rangers, so they basically did the original idea for Zoo Ranger.
Oh, really? I didn't realize
I didn't
that.
even know that. I didn't even know
I
that.
had no idea.
That is something that I do a lot of research on Zhu Ranger and Super Sentai in general. That is something I didn't even know. Wow.
I know that Mighty Morphin, they were gonna do the Die Ranger suits, and then they just scrapped that idea because it was the Mighty Morphin suits, because of dinosaurs and everything was more people. They tried it out, and Mighty Morphin suits went better with audiences. Like, kids really levitated more to the original suits.
Yeah, they didn't want to alienate their audience too much, they figured. So they just figured keep the Zords, but not the suits, except for the White Ranger, because it looks similar enough to the Zhu Ranger team. So
yeah, it works. It worked close enough. Like, it looked enough similar to it.
Yeah.
Plus, it had the whole shield gimmick going for it, just like the Green Ranger did, so it kind of would make sense. So,
And then the toys will feature like a gold diamond on his chest to make him look more like he's from the Zoo Ranger universe.
What was up with that in the 90s? Like, every sort of toy or like other piece of media for Mighty Morphin, they always had the emblems on their chest. That always bugged me as a kid.
I admit it. I used to always scratch off the emblems before I realized everybody.
Oh, did you really? Oh,
did you?
man.
But now,
while I respect the idea, that kind of ruins the addition.
I'm part of the problem of all the people damaging them.
That's why I thought it was cool, because they tried to get the toys to relate with it when they came out with the movie with the emblems. That was from the toys, so they just carried it over to the movie. So it was kind of like a way. This way, kids can kind of like, okay, it's like that's why some of the toys have the emblem now.
Well, the movie does exist in its own continuity,
Yeah,
so it does make sense that they just like went balls to the walls and just did whatever they wanted to.
Yeah, it's kind of.
A reason the coins were added on the toys, well, I'm pretty sure, is because they have.
Hey, we've got Jay with us.
Oh,
what up, man?
Okay then.
Whoa!
I had a break in my video editing, so I figured, given the timing turned out,
yeah, it's Abraham or Noah. How's the art?
Yeah. Next time you see me, I won't have this beard anymore. Okay.
All right. In the middle of our discussion,
Jay,
why don't you explain to the podcast audience who you are?
Myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about yourself.
Your background with Power Rangers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I'm Jay Numb. I've been doing cosplay for probably the better part of a decade now. I managed a Halloween store for about that long, and afterwards just couldn't not do costuming. You know, and I live Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so the two of them just kind of were an obvious choice for me. And my collection is disgusting compared to. Now, I don't mean that in a good way. I kind of mean it in like a good and a bad way, because I'm like, that's gross how many friggin' toys I have. But it's also like, it's also like, people come up the stairs and they go, I didn't realize I'm like that I'm a super nerd. Yeah, I know.
That's the same thing I get. Yeah, my family and stuff do the same thing with me. Like, what's the matter? You have so many toys. I'm like, I don't mean to. People buy stuff for me a lot of times.
It's people sometimes get me stuff. I'm more so just between the stuff that I kept from the 90s and the things that I've bought. I just it's like a whole chunk of my upstairs. It's just Power Rangers.
All right. So, Jay, if you are coming in the middle of a bit of a tangent, but
gotcha. You want me to finish on the thing, or
basically we're talking about the Neo Saban era, Jay.
Oh, right. Yeah, I heard you guys. I read a little bit of what you guys were going to get into before I came on.
Yeah, we're
currently on the discussion of Dino Charge.
We're talking about Dino Charge,
Nice.
and Koryuger, the Sentai equivalent.
Yeah.
Jay, how do you feel about we were just talking about how the vintage toys had the chest symbols. Did those always bother you?
Yeah, I think, no, I like the vintage toys with the chest symbols. like when I was younger, I almost didn't notice.
That's
it
how
wasn't any different to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later on where I was like, "This is how it's always been." And I went, "Huh, okay."
Something I like.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's right.
Saying,
What, Jay?
Oh, it never really bothered me because I realized I was older, and then I kind of went, "Huh," and that was about it. To me, like anything, any of the old Vidget toys, it's just so nostalgic for me. It doesn't matter to me what the design is. Some of the faces are ridiculous, and I'm like, still great. It's old. It's the old toy. I love it.
See, me and Jay, I like.
Because the reason why they had the diamonds and the symbols is I think it was a copyright thing, so you could tell it's official and not. Because look at like the Jurassic Park dinosaurs; they'll always have the JP on them.
Yeah. Something I like to point out is that me and Jay are about the same age, and so that's the one thing. It's like that's why we have the same reaction about the toys. Like I didn't really even notice it that much.
Yeah.
And
and yet me, Brandon, and Trevor, we were all not even born yet when Mighty Morphin premiered.
Yeah, I saw it when it premiered, the day it premiered. Like,
me too.
That's
what
really
is
cool.
this? Do you remember, Jay, the 2 hour? Do you remember the hour special for season 2? It came on at 8:00 at night. Like, remember?
I don't think so. I don't think so because with season 2.
It was the first part mutiny opening for season 2. They aired it in prime time. I do my research. I wouldn't have lied for it.
No, I know Anthony knew it because he did he researches all this. Yeah, but I'm sure you watched it. You just probably forgot about it. But it was.
I definitely saw. I don't think I caught that one live though because given they aired it around that time, I had 4 siblings and primetime TV primetime TV was like Sarah was the oldest and she had to watch Buffy.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's a show.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so she got the TV during that time period, rather than, we were more stuck on the old the earlier
they
stuff.
had like Blossom and stuff, so she might have saw that too.
My other sister was more into Blossom.
Yeah.
Speaking of the toys, that's something that really bothers me from Japan to America. All the Japanese toys seem to be bigger.
Yeah, and more detailed.
Bigger and more sound effects added into it.
Yeah, like I remember when Gokaiger was still airing, and I was looking up on eBay all these wholesale lots of the Morpher with a whole bunch of the keys. And I'm just like, wow, this thing is chunky.
Yeah.
And then Super Megaforce comes out, and I've seen commercials from the Morpher, and I see it in stores, and I'm just like, what WTF is this thing?
They're only like 2 inches, or even smaller. And the new Ryu Souls, like the new keys from the new Dino Fury, those look horrible compared to the Japanese versions.
Oh, I know, they're so tiny.
The batteries.
Exactly. I just saw that crappy little not detailed plastic. Like, that's annoying.
And it's like so big.
They put a sticker on it.
Yeah, I mean, Gino and Jay, I don't know if you've seen any of the actual like Gokaiger toys, but
even the Ranger
as I said, that I did a lot of research and I almost pulled the trigger on a few of those lots. To this day, I actually still want. I still want the Gokaiger Morpher because it's a nice chunky thing.
Oh yeah,
changer, because that's a Sentai term. I'm just saying for the Sentai purists out there.
Well,
the Gokai changer is a nice. It looks like it has some heft to it. Know how in the show, whether it's Gokaiger or Super Megaforce, where they literally flip it open with one hand?
Yep, just flip.
Yep.
In Gokaiger, I always wondered, how the F are you doing that?
It's such a toy in the show. like the actual toy from Japan. That's like the prop they're holding.
Yeah, I'm just like, how the heck are you doing this? It is a thick boy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in Super Mega Force, it made a little bit more sense because it was this little thing. You can obviously just open it up like you would one of those old folding cell phones.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of like trying to imagine them carrying something that clunky on their person at all times for a quick, it seems completely
in Gokaiger, and I don't remember about Super Mega Force. Who cares about Super Mega Force, really? But
I'd still take it any day of the week over Operation Overdrive. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Well, I like the silver I think isn't it called Go Buster in Japan? The one that's the Beast Morphers.
Oh yeah, that's I believe that's Stag Buster.
Yeah, I want to get his Morpher, the Japanese one, because the American one, it's like a Nerf gun. It's real bulky and stuff, but the actual Japanese one looks like a gun. It just looks like a laser gun.
Yeah. And
I hate to say it, but ever since the Disney days, Power Ranger toys have extremely gone down in frickin' show accuracy, size, and
that was actually one of the reasons why I stopped watching originally. The toys, I caught the very beginning of Operation Overdrive on TV. And obviously, being a kid, I wanted the frickin' Megazord.
Mm-hmm.
Because my Megazord collection is a fraction of what it used to be. Because I either gave it away or lost it or whatever. There was a time there was a time where I'm not gonna give his name away on a podcast, but I had this old friend. He was actually an old bully of mine back in elementary school. We ended up becoming friends because of an 8th grade dance where he admitted to me, "Oh, I actually think you're pretty cool, but I was only bullying you because my friends were bullying you."
Oh, that's stupid.
That's dumb.
Well, at least he admitted he was wrong.
Power Ranger toys are all beat the lunch money out of you.
Yeah, but he ended up becoming one of my really good friends. We didn't hang out as much as we really wanted to, but when we did hang out, we hung out and it was a good time. But anyway, I ended up giving a lot of my Power Rangers stuff to him. Because he said, "Oh, I'm not that into Power Rangers, but I really like the toys." So
that's how my one friend across the street was. He always liked the toys, but he always thought the show was stupid. I'm like, whatever, man.
So I always like Japanese television. I like Godzilla. I love kaiju, like Japanese monster movies.
Oh yeah,
and
me
stuff.
too.
That's kind of how I was with Gundam.
But yeah, I ended up giving a whole bunch of my Power Ranger stuff to him.
Else.
But anyway,
so I'll ask what happened with you guys.
He ended up going into the military.
Good.
I believe he ended up going into the military, or he wanted to go into the military, something like that. And we just kind of broke off. The last time we saw each other was in the gym that's integrated with my dojo.
And how long ago was that?
Years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to him in a very long time, and I don't know if he even remembers I exist. But whatever.
Ouch.
I'm sure he has those toys at all.
But whatever.
That happens.
Back to the Operation Overdrive Megazord.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I went into, I believe it was Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace, Toys R Us.
So many good memories there.
I went into Toys R Us, bought the Megazord, brought it home, put it together, whole 9 yards, and I believe I still have at least parts of it.
I borrowed the head for yours because I needed to take some photos of it complete, but mine was missing the head. So
yeah, that's fine. But it's I even as a kid I noticed this thing is not up to par with like the Time Force Megazord I have.
Ooh, I love Time Force.
Oh yeah,
Time
Time
Force
Force
definitely had a unique mech. I mean, 2 different modes. Obviously, red is better, but you know, it was unique for its time, definitely.
I liked pretty much all the Rangers in that series. I think I liked every single character.
As strange it is, like, because I'm mostly just like Zordon era. Outside of that, Time Force is, I think, my favorite one. I just love the concept behind it. It's totally different direction than the powers that have gone before. You know,
and the thing
is, to see why. It has the best acting cast, in my opinion. It has a dark storyline, a fantastic villain. The music is great, and the fight scenes were up to par with what we expected.
Oh yeah, and
that's when they first stepped up.
Don't worry, we will get back to Dino Charge at some point.
Some point.
Yeah.
But
sorry, I just the Time Force. To
keep going with this Time Force chain. I haven't seen a lot of Time Ranger, the Sentai. I've seen about half of it, and this might just be me, but it's not up to par with Time Force.
I agree and disagree. I have seen both series in its complete form, thanks to the DVDs from Shout Factory. So there are times where Time Ranger is better, and there are times where Time Force is the superior show, in my opinion. Time Ranger was definitely one of those shows. From what I've seen, some fans talk about on line on forums and stuff, is that it's a lot like Time Force in a lot of ways.
I was going to say that
it really is. It really
is. But there are, fortunately for Time Ranger's favor, there are some moments that are even darker than Time Force that I can understand why they didn't translate that to America. Yeah. I mean, can you say Time Blue or ISA?
It's just like with how some Rangers die. A lot of Rangers die in Sentai, but don't die in the original series.
That's a thing.
I count on one hand how many Rangers have died in the American series. You know,
they only had. I'm surprised that they did this in the Zordon era, and I think it was the first Disney era show, Lost Galaxy, when they killed the Pink Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
That was not Disney yet. No, that was still Saban. It was the very first season that did not have sort of a passing of the torch. Sort of. It was right after In Space. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure
when everything changed and we lost.
No, that was not Disney era. In Japan they kill people all the time, and
it's realistic. You know, you get to survive all the time.
And Ranger, well, for lack of a better term, Rangers get damaged. You see
Senshi.
blood.
That's the word you use for Rangers in Japan, Senshi, which means soldier. So
Senshi, okay. Senshi
depending on your translation.
Senshi in Japan, they get damaged. They bleed. They have visible wounds, and it makes the series better.
That's what makes you drag in, because there's more of an emotional aspect when you see somebody get hurt really bad. That it pulls
Power Rangers spark and light up.
Just to use Time Ranger and Time Force as an example, since we were talking about it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
In Time Force, in the first episode, what was his name? Alex?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I am surprised I remembered that. Alex dies by Ryan's hand, or he's thought to die
For
by
the
Ran
record,
16.
even as a 7-year-old, I never really believed he was dead. You know why? Because we never had a funeral scene. Yes, they were on their way to stop Rancic and everything, and maybe they didn't have time for a funeral, but I always believed he was alive. And then when we started seeing that figure in the darkness with those glasses, I'm like, that shade of color, that slick back hair, that's gotta be Alex.
Oh yeah, of course. But
it's one of those things that you never fully see. So it's like, is he or isn't he? They kind of don't really show you exactly.
That's how I feel with any show. If you don't show me the character die or give me like a film, I'm like, no, he's gonna come back. Like,
yeah, but anyway, along my train of thought, Alex dies.
Yeah,
Dies.
In Time Ranger. Oy vey is Mia. If I remember correctly, there are a lot of scenes that I am not, as Anthony said, I am not surprised they didn't bring them over to America with Time Force. Like, holy shit.
kid show. You know?
Hey, listen, I always say this to people. Power Rangers, 100%, definitely a kid's show. Can it be treated as something more? Yes, sometimes previous seasons have shown us that. However, Super Sentai, it's more of a family show, or sometimes it even borderlines on the audience of teens more. Just because, you know, Japan children and American children, you know, they're given different things and stuff like that.
Well,
they're
see,
exposed to different things sooner and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
yeah. And
it's like,
Japan's way past us.
yeah, like it's like Kamen Rider. If anybody's seen Kamen Rider series,
Yes.
a few
Kamen Rider
episodes
is really
here and there, but
silly,
never a
My
full
brother
season.
right there, huge
Or
fan of
really
Kamen
dark.
Rider.
it gets like dramatic or silly. It's
Yeah.
it's never in the middle. It's like either really dark or silly.
Yeah.
like, the one I always go back to when it comes to Kamen Rider is Forze. I really liked Forze, and I mentioned this the other day with Brandon in that episode that is posted. I like Forze because his whole shtick is, I want to make friends. His first proclamation in the very first flippin' episode is, I will make friends with everyone in this room. And his main adversary is just like, what the hell are you saying what are you saying BS like that for?
Okay, so now back to the Dino Charge to talk about it
finally,
more.
let's talk about Dino
Right.
Charge.
Sorry about that. Dino
Sorry
Charge and
about that.
Kyoryuger.
The-
Anyone here seen both series? Besides Trevor and
I haven't
maybe
seen.
Brandon?
That's one that I haven't seen any of the.
I
Japanese
have
one at all.
now. I want to clarify. I've seen all of Kyoryuger. I've seen the first series of Dino Charge. I have not seen Dino Supercharge.
I've seen all of it.
Kind of a lot of the same thing. I'll just tell you that.
Yeah.
Now, I assumed that, but
Yeah.
I wanted to put that clarification in.
Of course.
When it comes to Dino Charge, I always wondered a lot about Keeper. Like, what the hell is this thing?
An American exclusive character.
Realized. But he is creepy.
That's why it's called Creeper. Or what? Not Creeper.
Keeper.
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 That's why it's called
Keeper the
Keeper,
Creeper.
because he's creepier.
Well, he's an alien. Yeah, I mean, he looks like E.T. What do you
He's a
want?
friendly I'm there for you, Brennan. And he touches Brennan with his finger. The red old Dino Charge picture.
I've met the Red Dino Charge guy.
Oh, Brandon Mejia?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we all did, didn't we? Brandon, wasn't we were both
Hey,
there?
we have a photo with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We all met him before, I think.
Yeah,
I think
I was like,
of
we were
us
all
up front.
there.
I met him at Power Morphicon 2018.
Me too. I met him at Power Morphicon.
We were at Allentown.
Okay, I'm the only one here that hasn't met Brandon Mejia.
Sorry.
He's a cool. Sorry,
You
Trevor.
will, buddy.
It's
You
all
younger
will.
than I am.
good. It's all good. I don't.
Know who I like a lot that I think Jay will probably like the most is the guy that played Mike in Samurai, the green one, because he does a lot of calisthenics and stuff. So he'll do flips and jumps and stuff.
That's a cool
dude.
That was a lot of fun seeing him. Like he was drunk off his ass at Angel Grove.
That's amazing.
He's like Coco Power Ranger does like
Power Morphicon 2018, and he's flipping off of the amp and everything, and he landed it every time. The next day, he had lost his voice entirely. But man, he's a cool dude to talk to.
That's something that I always appreciate about the American series is that 9 times out of 10 they made sure that at least half their characters were actual acrobats, can actually do, like the extensive training that Jason, that I also say John had to go through just to land the role as Jason is absolutely insane. And the fact that they made sure that these actors could do acrobats and flips and all these things is amazing to, because I don't know many other series who require that from their actors,
Well, Walter Jones created, like they made him create a style of doing dancing and then doing like all these jump kicks and stuff, and he was like dancing and doing that, and they're like, okay, now do this and do that, and he was like jumping back and forth because before that in Mighty Morphin, the first season there was no stunt team, it was just them.
Yep, exactly.
So, Trevor, why don't you tell us some of the biggest differences between Dino Charge and Kyoryuger that you've noticed?
Good idea, my friend. The villains. They keep a few, like the pink heart thing. Whatever.
I know she's Porzandra in Dino Charge, but I do not know her Sentai.
I don't remember either.
I knew it, but I forgot.
The green one, the one that looks sort of like Lucky Charms leprechaun. They kept him.
They were a duo in the Sentai as well as the
they were.
Power Ranger show, right?
They were. But I don't remember what the villains were called in Kyoryuger.
Was it still the same kind of like not antagonist, or protagonist? Was it like still kind of they wanted the powers for themselves, the villains? Because that's how the show was.
It's very different.
It's very different. Yeah.
There are no gems.
The energems is what they wanted for themselves, so they kept trying to take the energems. Pretty much that was what the show was about, them trying to get the energy.
In Kyoryuger, they're all. I'm having a blank on Kyoryuger actually, but unfortunately, but I do remember the main villain. They're like, what's his name? Sledge? Dino Charge?
Yes. And Sledge, I know, is an American exclusive character.
Yes.
Almost like Lord Zed. Was he like...
Lord Zed was also American exclusive,
so he's like American creation, Sledge and stuff. Okay.
He's like Lord Zed.
Sledge is an American exclusive, and I wish I remembered, but in Kyoryuger, he's like this almost a king of the group of villains, and he has like multiple horns on his head.
I always kind of thought he looked like a pirate.
What we call deep holes.
He has multiple horns on his head, and he has like almost his face looks almost like a skull.
Like I said, reminded me of a pirate king. So
that's a good estimate, because because even where their base is, it almost looks like a pirate's treasure cave or something.
Yeah, like a cove.
Yeah, like a cove, like a pirate cove. So that's actually a good comparison.
There's actually a lot of comparisons, weirdly enough, there's a lot of comparisons you can make to Kyoryuger's Red Senshi to Cole Wild Force Red. They're very similar characters in the way that they came from almost the wild.
Oh, okay.
In Koryuger, the red Senshi is he lives on an island. And I think he lives on an island. I don't think I'm mistaken on that. I'll look it up. But he lives on an island, and he kind of just happens to find the red Tyrannosaurus mech. And then he hears this voice basically calling out to him, and he realizes it's the mech talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, okay. And
is he very happy-go-lucky, much like Tyler is?
Yeah, like Red Rangers and Sentai.
Yeah, he's really Tyler's like very happy. Yeah, very happy and
A little
kinda, like,
too
full
happy
li-
for my taste most of the time.
It's
Like,
about
oh
to
my
get wild.
goodness.
Try to
He
stop
was-
us.
Most of
He's,
the
like,
time when
full
I
of
was
life.
watching Dino Charge, I'm like,
yeah,
oh my god, does this guy never fucking not smile?
Like, you realize you're in a crisis, right? You realize we're in a crisis, and
Oh, but I'm having so much fun fighting this crisis.
yeah, that's the thing with the red Koryuger. He's very similar to Tyler in his personality. I think he's actually a little bit more over the top, because the whole it's time to go wild thing, I think they just straight up brought that over, because that's the whole red Senshi's catchphrase. It's something to that general effect.
It's about to get wild. Try to stop us.
Yeah, exactly. Try to stop us. Things are about to go wild.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
And
You feel like that was a direct you feel like that was directly brought over rather than just like specifically given it's kind of outside of the character that you would do.
Yeah. In fact, one of the very first scenes of him with the gun morpher is,
I think it's called the Kyoryu Revolver.
yes, the Koryu revolver. It's just basically a stone gun. When Red finds it,
Kind of like how in the first episode, the other Rangers find him like that.
yeah, and
I like what they did with the green one. How he found that it was like a stick that turned into the sword or something. It was
anyway, but it can still shoot in that stone form, but that's all it can do.
Oh, okay.
So he's able to sort of defend himself from whatever the little minions are called that he ends up fighting. And then from there he ends up basically being told, oh, in order to unlock its power, you need to basically find your dino soul or whatever the hell it's called. And obviously he unlocks it, and it shows it of all the stone being crumbled away, and then it's he does the spin, and he pulls out the
Capteria! Kyoryu change! Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, exactly.
Fire!
That dance. Yeah, I was before the show
I used to
came
be
out.
able
I was
to
like,
do
are they
that
gonna do
dance
that
to the lyre.
I've done it twice, and I've still haven't filmed myself doing it.
I was just like, I before the show came out, I was like, are they going to do the dance from Sentai? Because that's the only thing I knew about the Sentai series was that dance, the morph.
I have a fun story if you guys want to hear it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Involving
sure.
that dance. So 5 years ago, I was with my friends at a con called Anime Next. It takes place usually in Jersey.
Yeah.
This was the last one in Somerset that they were in before they moved to Atlantic City for their new location. And all of my friends were pointing out to me on the schedule, hey, there's a Power Rangers trivia contest going on. So me and my one friend Joe were super uber Power Ranger fans. We were really hoping our friend Ryan, who we all call Uchi, would join us. Unfortunately, he had a video game tournament to go to. So Joe and I and a few others, we went to the panel. They started talking about each season bit by bit. Then they told us what we're going to have you guys do is we're going to pick a few people from the crowd, and we want you to replicate this dance. And it was a clip of all the Kyoryugers doing their little henshin dance before they officially transform. So I was lucky enough to get picked for it. And a lot of these guys, oh my god, like you would just, it had to be their first time seeing this thing done. And a lot of them were able to pull off a impromptu dance, and they made it look really good. Others looked really stupid with it, but the crowd loved them enough for it. Me, however, I was the only one who actually said "Kyoryu change" as I spun the revolver, because that wasn't in the one clip that they showed us. But I just knew from seeing it over and over again leading up to that, it's like, I know they definitely spin the revolver and they say "Kyoryu change" with it. And everyone was like, I heard everyone go, ooh, when I actually said that. And I got the biggest applause out of all of them. So what they did was they took the top 2 people from that group to get moved on to actually play in the trivia. I was the one who got the most applause out of everybody, so they obviously picked me and one other person. Then they did it again with another round of people. We had 4 people competing in this trivia contest. The prize was either a green and white legacy morpher or a white ranger movie morpher. Third and fourth place would get ranger keys. Me being the collector that I am, I already had green and white, so I'm so happy. I'm so freaking happy they said first place gets a choice of either or, because I'm like, I already have green and white. I really want that movie morpher. I was lucky enough, though, that I was able to get the most points. Then this one guy next to me, he really wanted green and white. So everyone ended up happy in the end. Awesome. And I won a trivia contest. I'm like, my training has been leading me up to this very moment. I'm so happy.
The moment you said there was trivia contest, I was like, "There's no way he lost that." I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah. All right. So that.
Yeah, I actually got to pop back to this video. I'll show you guys what I've been doing. I've been doing this all friggin' day as I'm working on these videos, editing stuff. But I wanted to bring something up real quick. That was just one we were talking before I pop off, because I got a deadline of Christmas. So, but there was something that I wanted to pick you guys' brain about, that I noticed with like myself about when it comes to watching Japanese versus American, is that often, because of the language barrier, I find myself enjoying the Japanese one more because it seems more realistic, because I cannot tell whether or not they're acting poorly. You know what I mean? Like, because it's Japanese, I can't tell. You know, with an American, if it's bad acting, you right away you're like, they're not good. The actor's not good.
like Megaforce, for example.
Yeah, exactly. In Japanese, you can't tell whether or not they're acting really good or bad. You know, like, you can guess, but like, you really can't tell, because you don't know how lines are delivered or how things are insinuated. You know what I mean? Like, so you're just reading it, or and because of that reason alone, I find myself almost always thinking that the acting and the performance in the Japanese is better, which almost always makes it seem like it's a better show, between that and the act and the fact that it's more violent. You know,
there's one thing the Japanese have. It's definitely passion in everything they do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I was like, that to me, I was like, I don't know if this is something that, you know, like, maybe Japanese people watch the American versions and they can't tell whether or not we're acting bad, and they go, "Oh, well, this is way better than our shitty acting." You know, like, we don't know, you know. But so that's something that always just went through my mind, because 9 times out of 10, when I'm watching the other, I go, this is better. Like their acting's better, their performance is better. Like it's better, but I just don't know.
I can tell you from my friend that's from Taiwan that he lives over here. He's a teacher. He's actually a professor. He says that everybody in Japan and China and stuff, they want what we got, and we're always saying their stuff is better, which is kind of funny. I find that hilarious.
Grass is always greener on the other side, they say.
Yeah. I mean, because it's probably because we don't know their culture as good, so we're thinking, oh, this is way better. We don't realize because we don't know. Yeah. It just seems better. Yeah, like it's probably what you said, like what you said, Jay. It just to us, it's like we don't really know, and it looks more violent and everything. So we're thinking,
oh wow, that's way more intense than we got over here.
Yeah,
Power Rangers said a bad word.
Yeah, like remember in anime back in the 90s and stuff, everything was like kasa, where they were saying shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Kasa, kasa.
Yeah.
It was like they were always cursing in the Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball.
Yep.
I remember watching Japanese Sonic X for the first time and seeing Sonic the Hedgehog say "damn" is the best thing I've ever seen.
That's the thing that Vegeta does.
Jaw drop.
Damn a lot.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I gotta get back to this, but it was great talking to you guys and actually seeing a couple of you for the first time.
Yeah, ditto, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get all together because we have like some project.
Yeah, I had to make some room on my phone to download this app when I first tried to add it. That's why I didn't pop in right away. So I was like, crap. And then my phone died while trying to download it. I was like, crap. So
sounds like my old phone.
Yeah. But but it's been great, man. You guys have fun, and I'll try and make sure I can get on the next one.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. All right,
guys. Have fun, man.
Yep. Okay. Talk to you, man. All right. So now back to Dino Charge. We were kind of going into Super. Like we talked a lot about this first season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now this is where you guys are gonna have to fill me in because I never saw Supercharge.
I mean, so let's be honest. Like Neo Saban tends to do this every
same thing.
Like it's like they honestly, if not for their summer break that they always go on, they could just run the whole season throughout the 1 year. But because of all the weapon upgrades and sometimes American exclusive gear that they give our heroes, they just want to promote it as a newer, stronger team and stuff like that. That's why they got the idea of starting with Samurai. It's like, we'll make it Super Samurai and we'll have them use all these cool upgrades because of the black box and everything like that. And we'll stretch it out and it'll give us more time to write stuff out. Even though most of the time it's mediocre. That's just me. I'm just throwing it out there.
I agree with you. It could just be called Samurai and not be like a special. Like they tried to promote it as a better show. The second season with all these upgrades, and it was kind of
because Nickelodeon only gives them 20 episodes for a year, so that's why they had to do that.
Is that why they do it? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for shedding some light on that, Brandon.
It's all Nickelodeon and Viacom.
Yeah. As far as Dino Supercharge goes, really, the only things worth mentioning there are a few things. Like, Heckle is kind of brought in as the main villain for Dino Supercharge. I haven't talked to a lot of people about Heckle, whether they like him or hate him. I think he's unique. I
like him. I think he's awesome. kind of. It's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of character.
Absolutely. And I think he's a lot more conniving and a lot more clever than Sledge is. Sledge is I think he's kind of generic, personally. Like, he's just like, send a monster after them. I don't care what the heck it does. Just let me get my Energems. And if it doesn't work, Magna Beam. Whoa, there goes my phone. Wow. That's what I get. All right. And so Heckle is brought in as the new main villain, right by Sledge, for the next season. We do get to meet new Rangers as part of the team, as well as seeing Kendall become a Ranger. But of course, new upgrades and new cockpit shots and everything. All of a sudden, Dino Charge, the Dino Charge team ends up they all of a sudden their mouthpieces disappear when they're in the Zords, and they have this armor, much like almost every. I think actually now that I think about it, for Neo Saban, I think Super Megaforce and Megaforce are the only ones that have always used their Japanese cockpit shots. Like every other season, whether it's Samurai, Dino Charge, or Ninja Steel, they always end up using American cockpit shots, and it's always with this weird armor that we've never seen.
It's like this weird, like bulky armor that they're all wearing, and they look like robots moving around.
Well, so they could sell a new action figure of them in a new mode.
Yep. Hey, whether we want to accept it or not, Power Rangers is basically a half-hour toy commercial. So.
Well, they did remember how like even the first season with Mighty Morphin, they had this toy. They had the toy commercial. Literally, was an episode with dubbed over to sell the toys. But I would have to say it. The thing they always did with every Super one was they lost their power at the end of the original first season. Then they got it back with a special upgrade or something in the
Super.
They
tend to do that a lot. That tends to be a trait.
It's like which this is the funny thing about in the Japanese show. I don't know if it's everyone, but I know a lot of them, when they lose up their powers, they die. It's like that's how they die. If they something happens to their powers, it's like attached to them.
Yeah, that's in general. In Koryuger, most of the extra Rangers aren't actually alive.
Yeah, they're known as Spirit Rangers from what I looked up. Is that right?
Yeah, they're spirits.
And how you can tell is, like, Rangers that are alive, they have the yellow sash, and then it's a silver sash, if I remember correctly, for the Spirit Rangers.
I think it's like a gold, bronze color.
Yeah, the only ones in Koryuger that are actually human extra Rangers, extra Senshi, are the Gold. He's a relic of the past that gets brought back.
Oh, kind of like Ivar is. I mean, Ivan. Sorry.
Ivan.
Yeah.
I like the idea of him being a knight. I thought that was really cool.
And Purple.
Mm-hmm.
Purple is originally an older guy,
which I thought was hilarious.
And this guy apparently created the whole their technology.
Yeah, the voice you hear when they bite down, it's like Gabrincho. That's apparently his voice.
Yeah, that's apparently his voice. And then after the original Purple Ranger dies, he reluctantly give the powers passed on to his daughter.
To his granddaughter, right?
To his granddaughter, yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. See, that's interesting. I didn't know he died. I remember years ago looking up that episode. I didn't see all of it. I just saw a few minutes of it or something. And I thought it was hilarious how whenever he was trying to fight, he would always break his back or something.
Yeah.
It's like, it's to show he's old. He can't do it anymore.
It's almost like, what's his name from Zoo Ranger? The guy that basically is like their version of Zordon that wakes them up.
Barza.
How he would always hurt himself when he was trying to do something. He would have his back, throw out his back kind of thing. Like he would hurt himself and he'd be like, oh. I don't know.
I remember that happening too often.
It's not too often, but I remember it that would happen to him a good amount of times in the series. Not like a lot, but I think like the first episode he did that. I can't remember a lot of the episodes, but he did that a few times.
At least twice.
Yeah.
And I believe Heckle's costume or model was used in the Team Up movie.
Because he was the Zeltrax costume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the Zeltrax brought back from Abba Ranger / Dino Thunder.
That makes sense. I was wondering about that. Why did they reuse Zeltrax's powered up form for his alter ego Snide? So.
Yeah. All right. So, Ninja Steel.
Ninja
Steel. Do go Ninja Steel. Which they never really got back to the main story of that. I was wondering why. Like, he was supposed to become the greatest ninja of all time, like the Red Ranger. It felt like they kind of got away from that story.
Well, when an alien invasion happens, it's understandable. You do what you gotta do. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Wait, are you telling me Ninja Steel even had a story?
It was supposed to be, that was supposed to be the story. It was his destiny to become the greatest ninja,
because
like
that's
the
what his
legendary
father was.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
hey, listen, maybe now that the alien threat is gone, maybe that's what Brody is doing nowadays with Aiden, his brother. So
but he ended up being on an alien Jersey Shore kind of thing. It was like it was like an alien reality show.
Now, Ninja Steel, we didn't mention in the first part, is based on Shuriken Sentai Ninja.
Ninja.
And that series is also pretty good. Because
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's the morphers are a little bit the changers are a little bit different.
Yes, they are.
The ninja changer is the sword itself.
I was gonna say it's the sword, right? Because even in the show, it looked like it would be the sword more because they used the sword more than that shuriken thing.
Yeah.
So you like Ninja? See, Trevor, that's interesting. Most people I talk to actually don't like Ninja very much.
I don't see why. Ninja was good.
I actually like the point of I like the way the suits look and everything. So I never seen the Ninja, but I think I would like that show probably because everything around it I like. I didn't care for the Ninja Steel that much, except for the Pink Ranger. But other than that,
we all know why we like the Pink Ranger.
Shush.
Ninja, in my opinion, was actually pretty good. I mean, it had a very similar premise with the red Senshi, the Red Ranger, as the red was he was in a whole line of ninjas. His grandfather is actually the mentor for most of the season.
So it was almost like Samurai.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I think if I remember correctly, Trevor, back me up on this. Aren't all the ninjas? Aren't they all related? Like, aren't they all siblings? I
believe so. Yeah.
Except for Gold. Except for Gold.
For
He's
Gold.
not related, right?
Gold appears, and everyone's kind of skeptical of him when Gold comes in.
I mean, it's easy to see why. He's not more about being a ninja. He's all about showing off with his selfies and everything like that.
Yeah.
His guitar, gun, sword.
Hamburger changer.
Nope. Yeah. Oh, boy, the burger. Oh, why didn't they make Levi use that thing as a morpher?
Well, it's just like in Samurai.
It cameoed, but they didn't make it as main as. It had a cameo, but it was never like his main device in America.
Yeah, unfortunately. I remember. I recently, over the summer, my brother and I, over the last few years, we've been marathoning on and off on our own time every Power Ranger season, starting from Mighty Morphin to Ninja Steel, since that's the, I guess not anymore. Now Beast Morphers is officially done. We were watching every season one at a time in sequential order, and we got to we got to Ninja Steel, and I remember, like, I had just thought of it, like, midway through the season after Levi was added in, and I'm, like, thinking, oh, how did I not think this? The hat, the boots, the spurs, and everything like that. Brian, yeehaw! Ninja Cowboy! I thought I was going to make him laugh so hard because we love the Ninja Turtles movies so much, especially the second one, and that's a line in the second movie. But
Yeah,
man,
that
it's
was.
like, he like looked at me like he was so disappointed. I'm like, come on, man, that's funny.
Yeah, but Ninja was all about the villain, and the villain is it's the same costume.
As
Instead of
Galvanax?
yeah, instead of Galvanax, his name is Kyubani Gengetsu. And
What
he's
does that
this
translate to?
traditional evil. I don't remember whether he's a ninja or he's a samurai or what, but he's this evil yokai.
Oh,
ghost.
that's Japanese for demon.
Yeah.
He's
That's
this-
what. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
this
yeah.
evil. He's this evil demon who
And Kappa.
the grandfather supposedly sealed away a whole bunch of years ago.
This
Yo,
is sounding
Anthony.
very similar to Kaku Ranger, which is an homage to the legendary story of Journey to the West, which a lot of anime is actually inspired by. I highly
Yup.
recommend you look up Journey to the West.
No, that's what I love. I even like the movies. Like they have, Donnie Yen did the Monkey King, and there's 3 movies called Legend of the Monkey King, which is the Journey to the West. Which
okay,
Dragon
cool.
Ball is based on that. Dragon Ball,
A
and Dragon
very
Ball Z.
loose adaptation of it, but yes.
Yeah, so a loose adaptation, but I'm just saying it's a lot of it's based on that with that
Yeah.
whole monkey the whole monkey idea and stuff. And they have that. Then they have another series. They have on Netflix. They have one called The New Adventures of Monkey King.
Oh, I didn't know about that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's
I've heard
almost
that.
like done like Hercules, the Legendary Journeys.
So, Trevor,
Wonderful.
if you had to pick one show or another, Ninja or Ninja Seal, which would you recommend to either fan base?
Oh, honestly, I recommend Ninja just because I've seen it. I've only seen a few episodes of Ninja Steel.
I will admit
have you
there
seen
are
the
some
Ninja?
good things about Ninja Steel, but it lacks the heart. Like a lot of it's not bad or anything. It doesn't want to make me rip my hair out like Samurai or Megaforce does. It's just so average. It's just like there's nothing really remarkable about it. It has like the same quirks that Samurai, Megaforce, and even Dino Charge has, like, you know, of trying to give characters catchphrases, especially when they're taking out the monsters and this and
That's
that.
a super mega win.
Don't you ever say that again in my presence. Oh,
Fear no danger.
Super
why are
mega
you
win.
doing this to me?
Mega
But
Rangers,
yeah,
that's a mega win.
you know what the best thing about Ninja Steel is? Mick. Mick is awesome as a
He
freaking
was
mentor.
awesome.
The way he tries to teach the Rangers how to learn from their mistakes is just it's a breath of fresh air. I love it. I absolutely love Mick as a character. And Kelson Henderson is a great freaking actor.
You mean Boom?
I'm sure you guys are well familiar with his other roles since
Yup. Boom.
he
I was
was,
thinking of him as
let's
Boom.
see. He first appeared in Dino Thunder as that actor, not that actor. I'm sorry, that producer who was trying to change Kira's image. But he really made it big as a regular character as Boom in SP.
Boom.
Next, he
Yeah,
was Phineas
Orange
in
Ranger.
Mystic Force, which, by the way, I think Phineas personally has the funniest line
Oh
out of
yeah.
anything in all of freaking Power Rangers history. My brother and I, after watching, like, we play a game when we're watching the show. We love to laugh, both he and I, and we always try to look for the funniest moment from every season. Out of every season, there is no moment that has made us laugh on the floor more than when Phineas is fighting the grunts of the series, and Claire and Lily are looking at him doing this. Like, he's just dragging him on the floor and stuff like that, trying to do a Cesaro swing from what it looks like for you wrestling fans out there. And they're like, Phineas, what are you doing? And he says, I'm wiping the floor with him.
Yeah.
Oh man, you have no idea. I thought I was gonna laugh myself to death when he said that, and I had it in my head. I'm like, please say you're mopping or you're wiping the floor with him. Please just say it. Everything in my life will be complete. So then Kelson went on to do 2 more roles as Norg the Yeti in Operation Overdrive. One of the very few okay things about that season.
I
But
can't really get Drew
and
that
he
show,
was
that series.
he was the voice of Flit, the Fly from Jungle Fury. And by the end of
Oh, I didn't
Jungle
know that
Fury,
was him.
those who have seen it, you remember that he actually does appear in his human form, and it is Kelson Henderson.
Yeah, but now my thing with Ninja is they have a movie-specific ranger, Green.
And I'm all about the Green Rangers, you know that. So
Yep.
I wanted to see that. Yeah, I'm more about the Green Rangers.
Green Ninja is one of those things. It's in my, this is just me, but Green Ninja is not the best of the series. She pilots an elephant mech. And I don't know, me, I've never liked elephant Zords in Sentai or Power Rangers. I'm not a big fan. I don't know.
What about giraffe swords? That was in like, what was it, Wild Force?
Wild Force.
Yeah, the
Wild Force
giraffe.
had both a giraffe and an elephant. Although if you ask Patrick Starr from SpongeBob, he would think both are giraffes. It's a giraffe! I said that to my brother when we were watching Wild Force together, and even Ninja Steel, he laughed his ass off.
It's like Toys R Us was pretty much involved in that.
Oy vey.
So, you don't like elephant swords? What's that about? Are you just not a fan of elephants?
I don't know. I
What
have
elephants?
I have this thing with elephants. They're very strange animals to me.
They are.
Elephants are very sacred animals overseas, though, in Asia.
I know. In India, they're very
Yep.
along with
And
cows.
Africa. Can't forget about Africa. You want to know the difference? How you can tell an African elephant from an Asian elephant? Their
The
ears.
nose. Yeah, I was gonna say their ears. I said their nose.
Yeah, their ears. Because if you look at an African elephant, their ears look like the shape of Africa.
That is interesting.
Little fun fact. Throw out
Yeah,
there
I
for
knew
you.
that, and
I'm
I
all
don't
about
know
it,
how
yeah.
I knew that, Anthony. That's the funny thing. I knew that, but I don't know where I learned it.
I unfortunately learned it in my year and a half of working at Kalahari.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. You learned it from there. I don't know where I found out that. I don't know. It could have been Pee Wee's Playhouse because I used to watch that all the time. It
Oh
was
my
like,
god.
you don't know that show has really random facts that you learned on it, right, Brandon?
Me and you were just watching Pee Wee's Christmas special.
Yeah, I was just watching it. It's so random and weird.
Pee-wee.
So, Trevor, go on about this Ninja Green. I mean, I think she's at least worth noting because she's the first, to my knowledge, the first female Green Senshi. So I think that makes it a little bit more accurate.
One of, I believe, Green. Usually, Green Ranger is male. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Ninja, Green is a female, a girl named Luna. She, I, I've actually never seen the movie.
Okay.
I've seen parts of it,
Okay.
but I don't know. Just
Wait, did you say Luna?
yeah,
Anthony,
Yes.
isn't Luna the name of the Omega Green in the comic?
You know what? I gotta look that up.
Look that up later.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. You're talking about Jason's new team,
yeah,
that alien
Jason's
chick,
new
right?
team. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? No, I don't think it's Luna, but I
I'm
will
trying to
check that
think.
out.
I remember reading and I can't remember. It just sounds like it was that, but I might be wrong. Because
Yeah.
I read it, but I only read it once. Those comics, like the
Yeah,
ones when they
and
were.
I had to wait for the other issues because because things weren't getting shipped to comic
Yeah.
stores and everything. I missed a lot of issues. I actually just re-updated my collection over this last month. I finally have those missing spaces and everything because I was missing. I think I was missing like issue 48 through 50, and then 52 out of nowhere. And from there on, I've actually caught up. I need
Yeah, it
to
looked like
read
you
all
caught
of
up.
that stuff that I just left off at. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah,
But-
I will clarify that. I will
Yeah, I'm
just
definitely
curious.
clarify that.
The,
Yeah.
the thing I do like about Ninja is when they morph or when they change, they they it's the sound that plays. Nin, 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 nin.
So do they do their own little dance too?
No,
Like
I
on
don't
the
think it's a
thing?
dance, but it's the sound that comes out of the sword is
Oh, it's
nin, 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 nin. And
oh my god.
it makes it just it gets to me every
Is
time.
it a newer Sentai series?
I believe it came out about 5 years ago, perhaps, like
'Cause
4 or
is
5
it-
years ago.
My question is it part of that time like the newer stuff looks almost anime like where they have like they run at the screen like run up in the air and do a slash or something?
Yeah.
I would say that's an accurate statement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do
Okay.
a lot. They do a lot of acrobatics.
I mean, they are ninjas, so
Yeah.
they have every right to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I've
do a lot of
noticed I
acrobatics.
haven't watched a lot of newer Super Sentai shows out there, unfortunately. I will get to them. I definitely will. I just want to watch everything up till Gokaiger, so I can appreciate Gokaiger in full capacity and appreciate all the fan service and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then I will start watching from Ghostbusters on. I mean, Ghostbusters. I'm sorry.
Go.
Listen, you
It's
gotta
been done.
understand the mistake.
It's
Being an
been
American
done.
that I am.
Yeah. Go Buster.
Yes.
I highly recommend
but,
Ghostbusters.
But something I've
Ghostbusters
noticed,
is really
I
good.
think ever since Kyoryuger came around, I've been noticing Super Sentai shows have been getting more and more geared towards younger children, and they've been becoming much, much more goofy. Like, if you look at so the
Tokyuger.
very next Sentai that came after Kyoryuger, you guys may be familiar with Tokyuger. That's the train one.
The trains.
Oh,
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah,
We all know.
Tokyuger's mech.
Yes. I love trains and everything,
has-
but that one finisher where the train comes out of where a certain part of the male body belongs. I can see why they chose not to adapt Tokyuger for that reason alone. But I don't think they limited it to just that. Personally, I'm not a fan of the Tokyuger suits. And
the suits are not that.
I don't like
nice.
them.
I
Yeah,
don't
and,
mind. I actually really like the
theme
Tokyuger
of
series.
imagination and stuff like that, I thought is very toddler aimed at, I felt. So And
Actually,
then when you look at Ninja, the whole nin thing, and it's like, wow, they're just really going for the goofy here, and that bothers me. As
I don't
someone who
know.
appreciates like the darker, older Sentai series from like the '90s and the '80s and stuff like that, I just feel like Sentai has just sort of fallen off the wagon, and it's just like it's not trying to take itself seriously nowadays. So I feel
Now,
like that's made the quality in the product drop. Now,
now,
does it have its fans? Obviously, it does. And a lot of Sentai series nowadays they keep afloat because of the toy sales and stuff.
mhm.
Yeah.
So now
But
my question for you both is, what do you think? How do what do you think makes them, I guess, decide which one to go with? Do they go with popularity or like looks about it? Like, what do you think?
what, as in terms of what Sentai to go with next?
Yeah, for the next series, because you notice they skip a couple and then they do another one
Oh, for Power
Honestly,
Rangers.
for Power Rangers.
Okay.
honestly, it's probably a combination of popularity and what looks like they can turn into what looks
American.
like they
Toy.
yeah, or what they think would make good toy sales.
Mm.
I think what they do is like they get kids to play with like the Japanese toys and see what appeals to the kids the most.
Kind of like what they did with the Avengers. That's why they added
Like
Iron.
Iron
That's why
Man.
Iron Man was part of the Avengers in the first phase of the MCU.
Yeah, personally, I chalk it up to what they think would sell overseas with them and stuff like that. Because, like, obviously, there were people that didn't believe that Samurai could be, a success because, what do we know about Samurai culture and everything here in the States? Practically nothing. So, and unfortunately, Samurai as like even though it was trying to copy the script almost verbatim from
Yeah.
Shinkenger, there were some things that they had to cut out because obviously we wouldn't know. Like for example, Kevin, he was an Olympic swimmer in Samurai, but his counterpart Ryunosuke was a kabuki performer, and kabuki is a form of theater and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And
that's what I was trying to think of. It the other day with when Gino and I were doing the first part of this was what some of the Shinkangers were in their previous lives,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like Ryunosuke. Yeah, he was a kabuki performer, so that's one big difference that we failed to mention.
They tried to make their personal lives match their element in the American show.
which, hey, I get it. It kind of made sense to me that he's all about water and stuff like that. So of course his element is going to be water. He's the Blue Ranger, this and that. I get it. It was. I don't mind the change. I
No,
realize why they had to make that change. But
there's a lot.
as far as why they skipped over Go Busters, I just felt like the dinosaurs always seem to sell,
Yeah, yeah.
and that and the fact that Jurassic World was also
Mhm.
getting released the same year coming up. So 2015 was just kind of the year of the dino resurrection. So not literally, mind you.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like I think they just seem to think the Go Busters didn't do so well in Japan, and I think it's unfortunately because of bad coincidences. Because I think because of the tsunami that hit Japan that year, Go Busters was airing, and with it being a little bit more of a darker show. And that's why I think they made some changes towards the second half. That is why they started to veer off in the more comedic direction for the later seasons and stuff. I think that's why they originally decided not to go for Go Busters. As far as as far as skipping over Tokuger, trains they're not given the amount of
Well,
respect they
the
are given in
Americans
Japan.
And
You know,
imagination.
the American Railroad is practically dead here, so
that's what I was gonna say. Like, it would probably the train one would probably do really good in Europe because they're all about the train system. So if they did a show, it would probably do. It's just about culture. So like for some reason, like Turbo was bigger. The counterpart in Sentai in Japan was bigger. It was actually made a success. But here it almost made the franchise. Yeah, Turbo almost sunk the franchise.
Yes, because half of the producers and writers wanted to write a darker, more serious adult story, while the other half wanted to embrace the slapstick that Car Ranger had. See, Car Ranger, believe it or not, it wasn't great in the ratings, but supposedly it's given this title that it saved the Super Sentai franchise. Whether or not it
That's
did
what
is
they
up
say.
to debate. Yeah, that's what some people do say. Unfortunately, I think it's because, like, but the reason Car Ranger was made the way it was because, again, bad timing in Japan. Like, O Ranger was supposed to be this dark 20th century anniversary season of the franchise. They brought old writers back and stuff like that from the Showa era days and stuff like that. And they were really ready to give us something dark and gritty and everything. And supposedly, like, it was going to take place in 1999, 4 years from where it's actually airing and stuff like that, about an alien invading empire, seeing all sorts of destruction and stuff like that, death everywhere. But unfortunately, less than 3 weeks after its airing, there was this Japanese cultist attack on subways, and this have caused levels of panic, death, not even approached since World War II. So, because of this, there were a lot of rewrites in O Ranger, and there were times where there were characters acting unlike how we were like introduced to them for. So it became a little bit of a convoluted mess. So they made Car Ranger completely silly and on purpose and stuff like that to maybe ease the stress that Japanese.
It's almost like with 9/11 changed the way certain things we did in America in our shows.
Oh yes.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer was going to have a whole shooting episode about a shooter on campus. They had to hold the episode, then they reshot things and turned it around a little bit rather than him shooting. Like Buffy saved the day and he didn't end up killing anybody.
Even Power Rangers at the time, Time Force, as great of a season it was, they changed up the intro. Instead of showing the time shadow on the buildings, it was then changed to the Q-Rex. And in the background was, wasteland and stuff like that, mountains and all. And there were shots of Rancic, like, supposedly talking about destruction and everything. It was originally supposed to be buildings, but then it's just, shots at mountains or, like, a field or something like that. Because it would not go over well with post 9/11 crowds. I mean, imagine trying to re-air Lost Galaxy 2 or 3 years later after it aired in like 2002. I mean, you guys do remember that triple part finale, right? I mean, Trakina straps bombs to the Stingwingers. She makes them suicide bombers. Like, holy crap, I did not realize that until I was
now you telling me about that, because I seen all that episodes, but it's making me time wise get the way it's done. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
If they re-aired that, that's pretty crazy after post 9/11.
All right. But, so, I do believe this has gone on long enough. It is getting late.
It has been over an hour.
We've been going off on some tangents, but it kind of is like we've been talking about the cultural significance of both shows, so that's why we kind of went off on tangents.
All right. So, as usual, is us saying goodbye from the Super Sentai Power Hour. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us on Instagram, Twitter.
Goodbye and good night. Let me know if you want me to appear more often.
We definitely do.
Thank you all for letting me be a part of this.
All right. So, with that, Goodbye.
Goodbye and good night.